What a blessing it is to stand in front of you. I just want to say a couple of announcements before we get into the presentation about India. First of all, it's been great having Sam and Peter from Calvary Baptist Theological Seminary, Dr. Harbin, and Mr. Radford, from Calvary Baptist Theological Seminary. It was great to have them with us. As you know from yesterday, he is the president of the seminary there. They're going to be leaving, I think, 11 or 11:30. Maybe Dr. Berghoff already said that. But if you get a chance to see them, it would have to be right after chapel. So hope you'll take advantage of that. And also, let me add my word of thanks to the Mittens for their testimony, for their desire to follow after the Lord's leading in their lives, for their family. What a blessing it is to follow along, watch what God's doing in them as a family. And it'll be exciting for us to continue that. And thank you so much to you for your generous giving towards their need and also towards the Kyungus. I look forward when Gabriel will be in front of you to talk about his work too. But what a blessing it is to be a part of world evangelism. One quick thing before I start about India. Tonight, our ladies basketball team is playing at St. Pete, and our men's basketball team is playing over at Southeastern, which is historically a fairly significant rivalry for us. Let me please encourage you, first of all, to go to either one of the games. Both would be great. And regardless of which game, remember our philosophy at Clearwater Christian College is we cheer in a positive way. There is no place in our philosophy here at Clearwater. There is no place for booing. There's nobody to boo. Okay, there's no person, no team. There's no person to boo. So where does it fit? It just doesn't fit. And I realize that that's just natural across the country. Everybody does it. I understand that. We don't. Okay, and if you want to show your support for the team, cheer like crazy in a positive way. That's the best way. And I hope that you will. And I hope there'll be a lot over there, a lot supporting both of our teams. They're big games tonight, and I hope that you'll be a part of that. But I do also hope that you'll remember my watchword is 24/7. We're always Christians. All right, there's not ever a time we say, okay, we're not a Christian right now, so we don't have to worry about how we're cheering or whatever. We're always Christians. We're always believers. And so our testimony is constantly on display. And so let's make sure that we are believers that have exemplary testimonies. And I would thank you for that. Thank you also for your prayers for our time in India. Excuse me just one second while I get this thing going. Do I have to do something to put it up there? It's coming. Thank you. One of the things that the Lord worked in my life about in the whole context of going to India was Romans 8:28. We know that all things work together for good. As you know, Michael, my son, and I went together. That was a whole adventure in and of itself. Those of you who know Michael know that he is constantly in action. There's never a dull moment when he's around, and neither was it on the trip to India. He kept it exciting the whole time. One of the challenges as we headed to India, and I'll talk about where we went in just a few minutes, but one of the challenges that when we went to India, and I see Anita here, it was to her parents' house and to their ministry, was the flights over there. We were supposed to leave Wednesday before the Thanksgiving break. And we went to the airport, all of our luggage, we checked our luggage to India, and come on up, Ben, take care of me. Don't mind him. He's just a little embarrassed. But while we checked our luggage to get ready to go on Wednesday, and we sat there. What we were supposed to do is go from Tampa to New York City, from New York City to Mumbai, which was Bombay, now Mumbai, and then Mumbai to Kochi. Well, we sat in Tampa, and our flight was delayed to New York, and it was delayed to New York. We figured out we ain't going to make this trip the New York flight is going to be delayed. We can see it coming. And it was. So we had to delay our trip a day, and we had to come back home. Unfortunately, it came so close to the flight that we couldn't get our luggage. So our luggage went off into somewhere. And that was another part of the whole thing, God working all things together for good. We had to keep telling ourselves that it was for our good. But our luggage went. And the next day, we got rebooked flights, and the new flights were Tampa to Atlanta, Atlanta to Paris, Paris to Mumbai, Mumbai to Cochin. And for our luggage ever to catch up to us would have been a miracle. And so the next day, on Thursday, we got to our flight from Tampa to Atlanta. That was no problem. Atlanta to Paris, that was no problem. We got to Charles de Gaulle Airport, and that's a dirty airport. That was a painful experience. My pardon to all the French students here. But we made it through there, no problem. And we took the flight to Mumbai, to Bombay. By the way, the reason they changed from Bombay to Mumbai is they're trying to rid themselves, India's trying to rid themselves of all British influence. As you know, they were a colony of Great Britain for quite a while, and now they're independent. And so they're changing their names of their cities so that it no longer has that British influence anymore. So now it's Mumbai. Well, we got to Mumbai, no problem. We were there plenty of time. But there was so much air traffic at Mumbai that we circled for an hour, at least an hour, just kind of hanging out in the air. And we never got to land. And by the time we landed, we had to go through customs, and we had to try to find our luggage. And we found out that our luggage did not make it. Surprise, surprise. And we also found out that we were going to miss our flight to Cochin. And this was 1:30 in the morning. And let's see, that would have been Saturday morning, because as you fly that direction, you lose a day. It's Dick Stratton. You're doing great, though. I don't feel like I have their attention, though. That's the only thing. Do I need to do the password? Oh, okay. Let me bow down for a moment here. Would y'all pray for us, please? See if it comes up there. I only have a few more words of introduction, so if you could. Anyway, we missed the flight to Cochin, so it was 1:30 in the morning. Michael and I were in Mumbai airport. We had no clue what was going on. We had never been, obviously, neither one of us had ever been to India before. We had no clue what to do. Our goal, I couldn't call Dr. Day because you could call internationally and you could call locally, but you couldn't call long distance in India, inside the airport. It was the strangest thing. But I couldn't touch base with him, so I had to call my wife internationally to say, would you please talk to Dr. Day? Anyway, eventually he was informed, because he was supposed to meet at the Cochin airport at 3:30 in the morning to pick us up from the flight, and we were going to miss that flight. So we had the great experience of staying in a hotel in Mumbai. The problem was the really nice hotels were problematic for two reasons. One is they were very expensive, $350 a night, something like that. We said, nah, I don't think so. But the other reason, to make sure that we didn't succumb to the temptation, was they were all full. So they were booked up because of a convention that was in town. So we got to stay in the... let's see, go down to... It should be in... See India? Did I do something wrong? Hey, that looks familiar. Thank you. Where was I? Oh, yes, the airport. We got to stay in the Imperial Palace. The Imperial Palace. It was not at all. Imperial Nora Palace. It was below Motel 6. But one of the exciting things, I mean, this is 2 o'clock in the morning, and because of the time change, the exciting thing was Michael got to see a Houston Rockets basketball game in our hotel room right there. So that was the big thing. I also had to go to an ATM machine, just walk in the area close to the hotel, to the Imperial Palace. It wasn't a real great area. But I had an escort who went with me. There was a guard at the ATM machine, which, I don't know if that helped me or hurt me. But I had to get some money because we had to rebook our flight to Cochin to eventually get there. And so we got on this airline called Kingfisher Airline. And I'd never heard of it before. And the Lord blessed because it was a wonderful airline. It really, really was. It was a great airline. And we were eventually able to get to Cochin the next day. And what a great sight to see Dr. Day standing there in the airport and with his beaming self ready to welcome Michael and me to that area. That was the start. What do I... It's frozen. That's okay. Good try anyway. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. I'll just talk to you about it. I wish I could show you the pictures, and maybe I'll be able to. But what was the first thing was that we didn't get our luggage. We started out trying to go on Wednesday, and we didn't get our luggage. I got my luggage on Monday. And Michael got his on Tuesday. We eventually got it, and the Lord provided that. He was great. But the exciting thing about the whole trip, there are 2 or 3 things I'd like to plan in your mind. One that's kind of enjoyable. It wasn't enjoyable at the time necessarily. That was the traffic. I wish I had pictures of the traffic. That was amazing. Just to watch the driver maneuver through the traffic was unbelievable because you have all sorts of vehicles. You have motorcycles, you have 3-wheeled cabs, you have trucks, buses, cars, people, elephants. You have all sorts of things on the roads. And he is constantly maneuvering and using, the horn is a vital part of this whole process. He is constantly pushing on that horn. And it's used primarily for 2 things. One is warning, look out, here I come. And 2, get over. You're in my way. I want to get through. And they drive on the left side of the road. The steering wheel's on the right side. And unfortunately, I wasn't driving because at the intersection, I couldn't figure out. Okay, when you turn left, anyway. It was a little confusing to me. That was one of the things that was probably the most impressionable to me and to Michael is the traffic. And I understand now every single day, the Days, Dr. and Mrs. Day, go to the college an hour away, and they go through that traffic. And God provides them safety as they go through that traffic. It is up. Oh, good. I'll see how far we get. We'll see how we're sitting. Let me go back here if I can. Where we are. You see India down at the southwest tip. That's where we are in Cochin. Is a couple of different ways to spell it, but that's where we ended up going, and that's where our ministry was. You see, it's right on the coast of the Arabian Sea. And this is the Days. They were great. The hospitality that they showed us was wonderful. She fed us so well. She tamed down the Indian food so that our stomachs could handle it. And actually, until the last, which I'll mention in just a minute, we were gaining weight like crazy. It was terrible because we were eating a whole bunch. This is their house. They also meet their church there, Emmanuel Baptist Church. Siju's is their driver. That's his motorcycle, very nice motorcycle. This is the place where we ate our meals and just had a great time of fellowship. Food and fellowship every single time. This is Anita's room. Don't tell anybody. This is Anita and Asha's room. This is where Michael and I stayed. This is lentil soup and some beef there on the right. Some chicken that we ate. And we did live on lots of bottled water and 7-Up. We did have lots of 7-Up that they had for us there. And ice cream. that was in honor of us. I don't think they normally have ice cream, but they had that just for us, and we appreciated that. This is Siju, the driver, as I was talking about. This is their vehicle, that wheel on the right-hand side. And I just put a couple of pictures. You can't really get the impression of it, but I put them here. It's just incredibly crowded. There's so much going on. And then every once in a while you'll see an elephant on the road. And this elephant wasn't just hanging out, it was working. It was moving brush and stuff, and you see that, and then guys riding on it. And then you'll see, this is near the airport, some buffalo, just kind of moving some buffalo around, right near the airport. And he was running all over the place because they were getting away from him. But he was having a good time. This is the church. I had a chance to speak. Notice at the bottom it says language, English and Malayalam. And that was the second language. So when I spoke, there was an interpreter that spoke at the same time. That was an interesting experience too. But it was a great time. That was I think that gave the greatest impression to Michael, was the time of worship in that church service. It was a special time of worship. There was a kind of a free flow of time where people would lead in a song or lead in prayer. And there weren't a whole bunch of people there. It was small, met in their house, but it was just a real special time. And that was on Sunday. Then on Monday, we went to the Faith Baptist Bible College and Seminary. The exciting thing was, it was like we were the president or whatever, the president of some country, because they had all the students, all 200 and something students lined up, and we shook every one of their hands and going through there. It was so special that time, and he's doing so much. Dr. Day, through the Lord's help, is doing so much. This is the dorm on the lower floor. I think he showed you this when he was here. But on the lower floor, the administrative offices. Second floor is the ladies' dorm, and the upper floors are the men's dorm. That's a classroom building. This is Mr. Schlosser the security area. So, their version of the security area is, hanging out there, making sure that no riffraff gets through the campus and coming in there. Everybody takes their shoes off going into the buildings. This is a ladies' dorm outside the ladies' dorm. So tons and tons of ladies. And this is a dorm room. 8 of them in a dorm room. 8 of them, okay? Let that sink in for just a moment. There are 10 bunks, actually. They use a couple of bunks to put stuff on. But there are 8 of them that live in these. They are very serious. Very serious about what God's called them. There's about 60 or 65 ladies and 160 or so young men who are training to make a difference in India. And it's not something that they are taking lightly. Some of the guys up there just checking it out, wanting to get the picture taken probably. This is an Eastern toilet, just in case you were interested. Moving on. This is another one of the room. I'm the Jolly Green Giant in the back there with these ladies. Again, another room. They were having fun. This is a building that he's building. He showed this to you when he was here. On the lower floor is a chapel. On the upper floor is a library that they're planning. And then the next building, lower floor, is a dining area. And I can't remember what the upper floor is. Classrooms. Classrooms are in the upper part of that one. He's got 2 going at the same time. I'm telling you, Dr. Day is an amazing visionary. He's got so much going on. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. I wish I could share with you a lot of the other things. This is a chapel time. It was so wonderful. You guys listen really well when I speak. They were just on, and they were absolutely just on top of every word that I said. And it wasn't through a translator. It was in English. The college is in English. But it was amazing. And you can see a seriousness. Because these folks, there's 1 billion people in India. They're going to be going out. They're from all over the place in the country of India. They're going to be going out to make a difference across that country. It is a Hindu-Muslim land. And they're trying to make inroads in a very, very difficult place. And they realize that. And there is religious freedom, yes. But there are also, the Hindus can sometimes cause lots of difficulties. In fact, they did for the college a few years ago. And the Muslims, of course, can too. The extremists can cause all sorts of difficulties. As you think about it, as you think about this little work in Kochi down in the southwest tip, pray for them that they will, number one, have safety, but number two, have a fervency to get the gospel out to this very, very needy country. This is speaking there. I mean, they have the signs up there. There's so much honoring of guests and also of the professors. This is a good news center. It's a reading room that they just had started the day, one of the days that we got there. I got to be there with everybody. I realized that you're not supposed to smile for pictures. Supposed to look more somber because I'm the only one smiling there. I'll try to work on that next time. The Good News Center is a very small room, but a place where they're trying to bring in. This is in a nearby city. And they're just trying to use this as a place to bring in people into a reading room and give them the gospel. And this was the first day. It's inaugural day. Whatever. Cutting the tape there. This is their version, I guess, of the Dean of Men. This is Christopher, and he makes sure that everybody is doing well on the behavioral side. This is, you can't see it, but I wanted to show this anyone. This is Sijuman. He got married this past Saturday, and he was beaming glory. He was excited about that, but he's one of the professors here. And this is just us two at one of the churches in that area, in Cochin area. These are rice paddies out behind the college. You can see it's just beautiful there. There's acres and acres of rice paddies, rice fields. These are rubber trees. And we went to different places. And so I spoke on Sunday, spoke a couple times each day on Monday and Tuesday in the college. And it had a profound impact on both Michael and me. On Wednesday, we were supposed to go do a little sightseeing and so on. And we actually did some on Monday and Tuesday at the end of the day. I'll show you, this is Vasco da Gama. He actually died in Cochin, so one of those fun facts to know and tell. His grave, but he was exhumed and taken to Portugal a few years later, so he doesn't fly there anymore. And that's Michael doing something next to Vasco. This is right near, it's a port city, so you have all the industry, fishing industry, of course, and you see this area. It's absolutely gorgeous there. We were walking there and seeing all the people, so many people. Cochin's probably one of the smaller cities. It's only got 1 million people in it. And as you know, the whole country's got 1 billion, well over 1 billion people. At the end, on Wednesday, all things work together for good. The Indian bug eventually caught up to us. And so we had the opportunity to visit the Trauma Care Center. We were both Michael and I were stricken with the same Montezuma's revenge, or whatever you want to call it. It wasn't real pleasant. And they were the days were very, very careful in the food that they fed us, but who knows where the little bug came from, but it was tenacious. This is the pharmacy there in the Trauma Care Center. Our doctor, very sage man. There. Don't you feel sorry for us? That's just the blood pressure kit. And there's Michael with the IV, the saline solution, to try to replenish our fluids. Because we were supposed to travel the next day. So they were a little concerned that we were, they probably wanted to get rid of us, but they were a little concerned that we wouldn't have strength to be able to travel the next day. So we both had IVs there. All right, that was a traumatic experience, of course. But what it showed to me was the days. When we woke up Wednesday morning, both Michael and I were really sick. From the time that we didn't eat, of course, the rest of the day, neither did the days. They just, they were so empathetic for us, and they did everything for us. I mean, they took care of us, such good care of us. When we were at the trauma center, Mrs. Day came back and stripped our beds, redid our beds. I mean, it was amazing what they've done. And what it showed to me is, Dr. Day is a leader of a very significant work, a Bible college there that's very important, but he also took time to minister to us and just spent his whole day, and it really was a challenge to them. And we hated to be a burden on them, but it showed such an incredible hospitality on their part towards us. And I don't know if this will work or not. I don't think so. I wanted to try it just to see. I wanted to give you an idea of their worship time in chapel. I can't do it for you, but I want you to be burdened by India. What God is doing in India. Faith Baptist Bible College is a significant part of that in coaching. And God is working through Dr. and Mrs. Day there. They have a special staff that are pouring themselves in. They don't pay very much. I mean, I was listening to him talk about his budget. His budget is 1/90th of the Clearwater Christian College budget. 1/90th. I mean, hardly anything. And he's doing such a huge... I mean, this is for every part of his ministry. Not just the college, every part of his ministry. And God is allowing him through that investment to make a huge impact in that country. And as I said, it made had a profound impact on me. And I don't know what God wants for you in the future. For most of you, He's not calling you to India. I understand that. But I hope that you will understand how needy this world is. How much can be done for the gospel's sake. Both here, but especially abroad. I hope that you will get a global view of missions. The mittens going. This slight view of India. I hope you see what God is doing. What we're trying to do through the China ministry. That you will see beyond the shores of the United States of America. And start praying. And as you pray, God may call you to be a part either through that, financially, or maybe going yourself. It is a life well spent for His service. May the Lord use you in your place. And will you pray with me for Anita's mom and dad as they serve the Lord faithfully day by day? And especially for safety as they make that trip every single day, that hour trip in that awful traffic, that the Lord would continue to give them safety as they go back and forth to the college. I know that they would appreciate that. Let's stand for prayer, please. Lord, I thank You that You have given the gospel to the Gentiles, that the Gentiles might praise Your name, may glorify Your name. Lord, there's Gentiles who are glorifying Your name in the country of India. There's a vast need in that country. Lord, would You please use Faith Baptist Bible College and other colleges there in that land to send out men and women across that country that will make a difference, that will impact eternity. Lord, I thank You so much for the privilege that You gave to me and to my son to be a part of that such a mission work and outreach. Lord, I thank You for opening our eyes to see the fields that are white unto harvest. Lord, I pray that these young people that are standing before me right now would see the fields. There's so much to be done. Lord, please help us to see that. To see You high and lifted up. And see the opportunity that we have to make a difference through Your Holy Spirit. Lord, would You use the gospel in our own lives. Help us to make a difference in the lives of others. I do pray for the mittens. I ask that You would supply their needs. I pray that You would bring their support up to 100% in good time. Lord, prepare the way for them. Use them to make a difference in that country too. Lord, we thank you so much for this time. Be with these young people. Help them make a difference today for your glory. In Jesus' name, amen.